Hi, and welcome to another old steam-powered machine shop. Next operation in the line shaft hangers is to bore the pedestal out here so that these hangers will fit. The dimension is 1/935. And I'm going to do this on a faceplate. We'll mount these on a faceplate with two bolts here, so they'll be adjustable this way. And since the bottom isn't quite flat, run a bull nose into this cord hole, which is pretty straight with the casting, and tap it around, and probably have to back the bolts off and put some shim stock in here to get it to run true, and we'll see how it goes. So we'll get going on that. I'll show you a few things later on the DC dynamo system, and we'll get right to it. Thanks a lot.
From time to time, I've talked about a generator dynamo to make lights here in the shop with, and this is the one. It's I believe it's a 110 volt DC generator. I'm not sure the tag has gone off it. It is definitely DC. It may be 32 volt. I don't know, but I won't know until I start spinning it. But it's complete, in pretty good shape. I don't know anything about how it is electrically, but we're going to spin it up and see what we can get out of it. So I had to make a pulley setup for it. I had this pulley. This is a very odd size shaft. I think it's 810 or something like that. So I made a bushing. I bored this pulley out because I wanted the bushing to be fairly thick wall. And this will be pressed into the pulley, and then after I get it pressed in, I'll broach the keyway in here and drill the set screw hole all the way through into the keyway. So that's the first step toward getting DC lighting. That came out fast. Well, this is as far as I've gotten with it. I got it set up on this stand, which is actually a base from an old valve grinder that I scrapped out a long time ago. And it's really heavy, really solid. It's bolted down here. And I made an angle iron track for it and adjusters over here to adjust up the belt. I've only got a 14-inch pulley on the engine and a 7 on the generator, so it only runs about 500 RPM. And at that slow speed, it won't pick up its field. So I charged the field with a 12-volt battery charger and ran it, tried different connections on it just to see what I could get out of it. And it was showing me 20 volts. So it's electrically, it's probably okay. I wanted to make sure the bearings were going to come around. I had one tight bearing that kind of heated up for a while, but then it's settled down. So I'm going to have to gear this thing up a lot faster. It needs to run about 1,000 to 1,200 RPM. And I think in order to do that, realistically, I'm going to have to put a jack shaft in here, a couple of line shaft bearing hangers upside down with a jack shaft. So if I could run from the 14 to a 6 and then another 14 to a 7 on the pulley size, that ought to do it. So we're getting there slowly. This is the setup for boring out the hole in this small pulley for my counter shaft setup. on the dynamo drive. The hole happens to be 1 3/16, which is pretty common for wrought iron shafting in the old days to be a 1/16 under nominal size. So I'm going to bore it out to 1 1/4, and that will straighten up the hole. These pulleys never ran really true, so I indicated this, the face of this up, and now I'm boring the hole out slightly just to clean it up, and then I'll probably run a 1 1/4 reamer through the whole thing. It's 5 1/4 inches long, so I'm really stuck out on here. So I've got a tool with a really small radius, and I'm taking it really slow with the back gear, and it's working pretty good. I'm piecing together a counter shaft to speed up the dynamo, and I got these hangers here that they're a little light, but they will work just right for this, and they'll be mounted on the concrete pad, lagged with anchors. Found this pulley here, bored it to 1 1/4. I still got to put the set screws in it, but that will run with the 16-inch pulley on the engine. And then on the other side of the counter shaft, I got this 16-incher. It's got to be bushed down, and that will run to the 7-inch pulley on the generator, and that hopefully will give me about 1100 RPM. These are the bearings. This is a pretty good design.
it's got a wick that goes in these in this slot in the bottom of the lower bearing that takes the, well, to be the upper bearing. It's upside down. And this is the top part of it. Goes together, and it's already just about on 1.25 inches. These shafts are nominally a 1/16 inch under nominal size. So this has got some wear on it. I may need to run a reamer through it, but that'll work for that. And then it has rings that actually run in these grooves. And when the shaft is running in here, these rings spin around on top of the shaft and pull oil up from this bottom reservoir. It sits down in here like that, and it continuously delivers oil to the top of the shaft. And typically the weight of the shaft runs down against this side of the pulley, so that whatever clearance there is up here in the upper side anyway, so that helps the oil run around through there. Then there's also that wick that goes in here, and the ends of it, these are the old ones, are down in the oil, so this is constantly wiping the oil around on the bearing, and it works pretty good as long as you maintain it. The hangers have got these jack screws that run up and down to adjust the bearing this way, and then it's got some clearance this way, and it's got bolts and lock nuts that go in from the side to adjust it that way. Plus you got some sliding down here that allows you to move the whole hanger a little sideways. So that's going to be the jack shaft. I'm missing a shaft. I got to go down to the steel warehouse and see if I can find a piece of 1.25 inch pole roll for that, and get going on that. Finally had some time to run the planer a little bit,
and get used to it. So I got it. Like running the full length of its travel for the lubrication to be distributed around the way. Okay, so now I'll set them back where they were. This is just a junk piece of cast iron that I put in here to try it out. And I've got a rounded nose roughing tool in here. The surface finish isn't that great. It's for, especially on cast iron, it's meant to take large cuts. I'm going to back this off, take a bigger cut. You can crank it down to another 30 or 40.